We're both graduates of Clemson University. We actually met slightly before either of us started at the university. We met at my brother's and her cousin's wedding. We were both in the wedding. So how we first got engaged was as students when we came to Clemson. I'm one semester ahead of Kim. And we both we were both on the intramural softball team, if you count that as engagement. But we have a long history of engagement after our graduation. But that's our first experience at Clemson.
We had children. We lived in Atlanta. We still live in Atlanta. But we were not very engaged because we were, raising children and stuff. But probably about 20 years ago, Mike started serving on some boards. And since then, our children have come back to Clemson. All three of our children have graduated from Clemson. One of their spouses have. And so during that year, we've become much more engaged, spending time with the family here and serving on numerous boards. Mike, again, has served on many. I am now being asked to serve on boards, and we're so excited to be more engaged at Clemson.
It's a different take of what I thought you were asking. That first major engagement for me was about 30 years ago. And I was still early on in my career, and we had a young family. And all of our time was focused around family for me, work, in church. And that's all I felt like I had time to do. But fortunately for me, I got a call from my mentor here at Clemson when I was a student. He was my advisor, my mentor, the professor, Dr. John Gowdy, who put me on the path I would follow for the rest of my life and love the career that I pursued as a consequence of his influence. So he calls me one day and he says, "Mike, I'd like to ask you to do something for me." "Of course, Dr. Gowdy, what would you like me to do? I'd love to do anything for you." He says, I'd like you to give back. I'd like you to return a portion of what you've received from the university. It has shaped your life. I wanted to find other ways to contribute to the university. And as Kim has mentioned, other opportunities to volunteer, other boards to sit on, research foundation boards, the finance end of the university, to understand the totality of this institution, how great it is, and all the people that contribute to it. When we started coming up and having the tailgate experience here, and for us, this was a family experience. It was expanding our Clemson family in the sense of our knowledge of other people. So we got to know other people around us. Our kids would come. We've had 3 children. All of them graduated from Clemson. So them and their horde of friends would also come to
Mike's
those.
brother and his wife
My
are both
brother.
Clemson grads, and their 2 children.
And their 2
So
children.
when we say family, it's the whole family.
This concept of Clemson family, it's not a marketing ploy. It's not a term used by the university for some marketing purposes. It is real, felt by the entire community. I think it's a description of the ethos, the culture that is developed and sustained by the university. It's this sense of community. It's the strong bond that exists. And the one thing I would say about the family, it's also not limited to the alumni. Wherever I go, wherever I travel around the world, inevitably I seem to run into some member of the Clemson family, and we have a bond immediately as a consequence of that. It is something very real. We thought we would do something through the athletic department and to try to touch those lives. So this facility is focused on those 18 sports that may have less, some people call the Olympic sports, that outside the football program, basketball, and so forth, that didn't have the same necessary level of facilities that the other students might enjoy. it's something we could do. Again, it's student focused for the student athlete. We're not trying to, it's not just targeting those folks that maybe go on to professional sports, but the student athletes, many of which will not go on to professional sports, but sports play an integral role in their lives while they're on campus. So much dedication, so much commitment that they make to that. And so if we can impact those lives as well, it's a smaller segment, but we would like to impact those lives.
This need is now. 10 years there'll be a different need. So I think sometimes, you just kind of, like you said, meet them where they're at. That has come into play with how we help also. I think it just goes back to the students. Academics is very important, but athletics is part of the experience also.
This vision first laid out by Thomas Green Clemson to be a force for good, not just in our local community, not just in our state, not just in the nation, but around the globe, to make a difference for humanity.